Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, and I would not be the filmmaker I am today, barely respected with no hits to my name, were it not for the wonderful world of Disney. We all love Disney, man, whether it's the movies, the parks, the Marvel movies, what have you, man. Disney is in our DNA. And you know whose DNA it's really in? The Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee. You want to go Disney hard? Never Disney soft. That's the show for you. Magic Our Way podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's all the Disney. You looking for a little D or the big D? Magic Our Way's got it for you.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For this show, we discuss extinct Disney transportation. And look, this isn't your typical polished, practiced, pixie dust and Disney podcast. No, sir. We are not in the parks every day trying to tell you the guaranteed way to get those Figment popcorn buckets.
That's right, Kevin. We're here to drink, talk Disney, and keep the concept of edutainment alive.
That's right. With over 400 episodes, we're too tall to fall short.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
And I'm your main model guy, Eli.
All right, Lee here, and just a reminder, rely on me for transportation to your next destination.
Yes, plus we have a special guest. Special guest, who are you?
Hey, this is Listener X, Professor X, take Kevin's seat. This is Keith coming at you one last time for another class lesson talking about extinct transportation.
One last time? Don't say one last
One
time.
more time. One more time.
One more time.
Thank you.
I forget, I was talking one last time for 2021. First time for 2022.
That's how you do it.
New year, starting off right. There we go.
It is.
I was worried you were sick and you were trying to tell us something.
I know.
Yeah, just kind of messing up the year here, you know, being all quarantined with COVID, all the days blend together, years blend together, just kind of got a little lost in the dates. Is it New Year's?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's since
We're going to
past.
blow up some fireworks after
2022,
this.
that's right. So guys, look, enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go discuss some Disney transportation magic.
So, Happy New Year, everyone. So, I thought it would be kind of interesting that, you know, you guys were kind of down in Disney World for the 50th anniversary kind of back in early October. So, I thought as part of that celebration, we would kind of take a little bit trip to the past. And, you know, way before you guys were kind of born, well, I was born. I was actually about 8 months old. I think, Lee, were you born? When were you born?
I would be a month old when, well, there's almost to the day. I was born November 3rd, 1971.
Okay. And I think Lee and Danny and Eli are not even born yet. So
We were a twinkle in our parents' eyes.
there you go. So
Just a dream.
2 sets of chromosomes. I hadn't joined yet.
So I thought it'd be kind of just interesting to talk about extinct Disney transportation. So these are transportations that Disney had either as a ride or actually as a transportation that kind of no longer exists. So I just thought it'd be kind of interesting, part of that big 50 celebration to kind of just kind of talk about that topic.
Magical Express.
Exactly.
I guess that is now extinct, isn't it?
No spoilers?
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's kind of on the list. So
Look at that. Least on friction already trying to steal that man thunder.
yeah, Lee, what are you doing? You're looking at my cliff notes ahead of time, trying to steal my thunder here.
Like a good pair of radios.
Hey, Lee, why don't you just take over? Why don't you just be the host?
Yeah.
Let me look at the kind of cliff notes you got.
Kind of Cliff. You stealing the man notes?
He's trying to steal my thunder here.
Don't let him take your thunder, Keith. That's the whole point of this.
You probably don't even remember Disney way back in the early days. Wait,
I
you're
don't,
a travel
because
agent, and when was
I
the
didn't-
first time you went to Disney, Lee?
I did not go till I was in my 20s. So yeah, man, like a lot of this stuff was probably already gone by the time I got there. I know like the Kevin talked about they're not the sky buckets. What were they called then? The
Skyway.
The Skyway.
Yeah.
That was gone by the time I got there.
Once again, Lee's jumping ahead here. Stop kind of cutting ahead, Lee.
Your moment is on.
All right, well, you got to take one.
Yeah, why don't we kind
beginning.
of jump into it before Lee kind of takes on my thunder and just throws out every single topic by just kind of cheating ahead and kind of looking at the outline here. So kind of what we need to do a little bit just to kind of talk about these little bit extinct attractions is we kind of a little bit need to go into that time machine, kind of going back into the early 70s and kind of 1980s. So let's go into our time machine now. Wow, we're in 1971 now.
Oh, I'm not born.
Wow.
I'm a baby.
Oh my God.
Get some disco music going on here.
Get
I'm wearing my parachute pants was the 80s. I don't know, what are you wearing? This high dive?
Bell bottoms. You're wearing your bell bottoms.
Yeah, bell
and
bottoms.
High skirts.
Your
He's wearing
polyester
short skirts.
jumpsuits.
Corduroy pants, was that out during the 70s?
He's wearing a tie-dye bib.
Tie-dye.
All I know is my mom should not be wearing that. That's not my mom. I don't want to see that.
Well, just
Yowza.
be careful your mama doesn't hit your dad. Your mom's
like
father
Back to
didn't
the-
hit you with a car.
Oh.
And then your mama's like all
Back to the Future
into
me?
you. You're exactly.
Yeah, she could have Back to the Future me.
And then your name's Calvin. And that would just sound right.
Yeah.
My name is Calvin, and I'm Danny.
Yep.
So it's 1971, and what I wanted to kind of do, I thought it'd be kind of fun as we're kind of talking about these extinct transportations to kind of so you're all working for the Disney company.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
Who's senior management?
yep, so you're senior management, and pretty much I'm going to kind of each give you an assignment just for this podcast until you hop back into the time machine and it's kind of back to reality.
Do we need pen and paper for this or something, Professor?
No, I think you're smart enough, Eli, that you can probably figure this out.
I don't
So-
know.
Is this
it's
gonna be on a
Friday.
test? Is this gonna be on a test?
Yeah.
No, there's no test at the end here.
Oh, okay,
no
good.
pop
Okay.
quiz.
I know last show you came on, there was a good.
Yeah, last time I
yeah.
gave you a quiz at the end. This time will be a little bit nice.
All right,
It's the
good.
new year. I'm kind of feeling good, so So Eli,
Yes.
So I kind of know you're kind of good at kind of saving money, kind of looking to cut costs, kind of however you can. So you're going to be the official Disney bean counter. So,
Oh, okay.
Hey.
I love black eyed peas.
So you're going to basically be looking at these attractions and saying, basically, how can we save money by is this attraction like a good investment for Disney, or should we save money?
So you're
that
going
kind
to
of
give
thing.
me a bunch of numbers to figure out and stuff? Or
No, you just kind of
Okay.
over time. Remember, the park just opened, so over time, is this costing Disney a lot of money, this attraction or not?
All right.
Or transportation. So
I'll count my best.
now Kevin kind of looks like kind of a safe guy. So he's like, hey kids, be careful crossing the street, that kind of thing.
Oh, that is not Kevin.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, cross the street so I get your mom.
That's what he looks like.
I can play that role though.
Well,
I can get on
that's what
method
he
with
looks
it.
like. All right, maybe not in reality. Remember, he went in the time machine. It's 1971 here.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
different
So-
now.
Oh,
it's
that's right.
weird. I'm not
You're
even born
different
yet.
people now.
I haven't
So-
developed
My
yet.
fro, I forgot, is right here.
So
Yeah.
I'm hazard guy. You know?
Hazard
Yes.
man.
So you're the official safety monitor, or back in school back in the day. Think of that little strap, like you have Miss America with the little badge on it. That's you.
With a flashlight and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff.
So you're kind of like Kevin from Up a little bit, but not the Cub Scout.
Oh, wow.
I'm good
Okay.
with that.
So-
I'm good with that. All right.
And your job is basically to kind of look at these transportations and say, over time, is this basically think of it, back in 1971, Disney kind of just did everything kind of off the cuff.
That's right.
So over time, as things progress, things got safer, laws kind of came into effect. So maybe, Kevin, you should look at this and be like, hey, kids hanging off the back of the tram, going from the parking lot to Transportation Ticket Center, maybe that's not the safest thing.
So I'm the reason why they installed doors on the parking lot trams. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm that.
Exactly.
I'm that guy. Okay.
Yeah, you're that guy.
I'm that
exactly.
guy.
You are the reason
Right.
they took down the Skyway, so this is not looking good.
You got a fun little job.
New
Kevin.
year, new me.
Hey, kids,
I
don't
did no
bite the
such
electric
thing.
cable. All
I never
right.
did such things.
Am I in charge of his salary or something?
Well, if you're the bean counter accountant, yeah, sure, Eli.
All right.
So you can cut his salary. You can. Well, you're not the CEO, but you
I'll
basically pay his paychecks.
I'll make some.
Oh, am I the CEO? Do I get to be CEO?
You're
Well,
the
yeah,
CFO,
you're
Chief
kind of
Financial
in-
Officer.
You're in that area, Danny. So you're kind of. I'll make you COO. Okay.
CeeLo.
You're
I'm CeeLo Green.
CeeLo.
So you're kind of the
I'm crazy.
Yeah, possibly. All right, go ahead.
Chief Logistics Officer.
so you're the chief logistics officer. So your job is basically you got to get people from place A to place B, or get them through this attraction as fast as possible. So you're all about logistics and operations.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So it's got to make
interesting.
sense.
Yeah, it's got to make sense. I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's perfect for him.
we're like the X-Men
Yeah.
right here. He's like, your
I think
talent is this.
that's
You're
really
the
strong of
Disney executive X-Men. I like
Wow.
it.
I like it.
yeah.
I like
This
it.
is the danger.
Let me guess. Lee's a janitor.
And then to take one, which is really transporting in time. So we're going to make Lee, which we know he's completely not this, but we're going to make Lee the Funmeister.
The Funmeister.
How do I apply for that job?
So yeah, so what I said, Lee is totally not this in real life.
That's my stage name. The Funmeister.
Shake it up.
Funmeister. Get your dollar bills out, y'all. I'm Mr. Funmeister.
Shake
Love
it
that.
up. Here it
Funmeister.
come.
We know you're not like this in real life, so.
No.
But basically, your job, Lee, kind of like we were just talking about the transportation. Is it fun, or is it kind of like, is it a good experience for the guest? Is it kind of fun for the guest? Does it make sense? Like, is it an outdated attraction that guests are like, oh, we just got to do it just to get from point A to point B? So that's kind of where you kind of fit in.
He's an experienced guy.
He's using his ability as a travel agent to say, would he book it? But since the travel agent doesn't exist at this time, he's saying, would this be fun for the
Yeah, good job. Yeah, I like
Exactly.
it. This is perfect.
Okay.
I dig it. I dig it.
All right, so you each kind of got your roles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
All
the
right.
role. I'm the
He's
hazard
the
dude.
Funmeister, so he's
Hazard guy.
Yeah, you're
Hazard
safety
man.
man.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm
All right, so jump into the first attraction here. Some of you might actually remember this if you kind of, Lee won't, but or maybe Eli not. But do you guys remember, or maybe not remember? I can kind of fill you in the probably early 1980s when Epcot opened up, 1982. This kind of ran from about the mid 90s. Apparently, there was these buses.
The World Showcase buses.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I love those buses.
I do remember that.
Very entertaining. I approve of these buses.
The Funmeister.
Okay, so the
Bruce?
Funmeister
The
approved
Funmeister
here.
approves of the double deckers.
Now, Lee, is it better on
And the Big
top or
Macs.
on the bottom for these Funmeister buses?
Yeah, he went there.
Anything is fun. It don't matter.
No,
It's all-
Lee's
it's
a
all
power
fun.
bottom. He loves that bottom.
He likes the double deckers.
He likes to be
Boom.
close to that exhaust.
boom, boom.
Well, let me just give a little background first, and then we'll kind of go into how it kind of demised, and then kind of Eli, you can kind of chime in, and everyone else kind
All
of
right,
chime
so
in there.
this is the World Showcase double-decker buses. that
Double
used to
decker buses.
Right
Yeah,
around World
this was
Showcase.
kind of there on opening day, and it kind of lasted into about the mid 1990s. Kind of, there's no exact time frame of when these kind of buses kind of disappeared, but Disney at the time, back in 1982, they thought World Showcase, kind of a 1.3 mile loop to kind of again around World Showcase. They thought it would be a great idea to have these double decker buses, kind of mostly in red, but kind of a couple different colors. And what they would do is they would stop at different places around World Showcase and kind of basically take people around, stopping at the different countries.
They should have had a drinking around the world bus. That would have been amazing.
Oh, yeah. If you're too drunk to, to
That's
walk.
right.
Oh.
You're just too drunk to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't
Around
get on the
World
top
That would work
part
well.
of the bus.
So then kind of what happened over time is these buses kind of came less and less, and we'll get into kind of why they kind of disappeared. You know, I want to get your thought process on that. So then for a while there, it was kind of like, now I remember this, they used to shove a whole bunch of Disney characters on this bus, like as many as they can fit. And they would just stop at a location, mostly around the holidays. They would call it Characters on Holidays. And then they would just all jump off the bus and go around and get pictures, autographs, or whatever. This is kind of before the Disney handlers back in the day and kind of whatever. So they used it for that. And then one time they used to basically, it was like a Junkadoo bus show.
Junkanoo. Yes, I remember the Junkanoo buses.
Wait, what's
So they would have like reg
It was awesome.
and like Latin pop, and they would have a band on it playing. So they still wanted to keep these buses around just in kind of different functions. But as you can kind of see over time, they still use the buses, but they wouldn't allow guests on them. Why do we get rid of these World Showcase buses?
All right, so you're tossing the question to us is why we got rid of the buses. So the logistics guy over here.
Well, logistically, I don't want buses traveling down the exact same road as pedestrians. Like,
There you go.
logistically, I don't want to get sued. Practically, I would say because it sucked because it was so excruciatingly slow.
It was slow.
From what I remember, because you would stop every pavilion to let people in and out, and just, you was just, and plus, like, they're navigating the walkways with everybody walking there, so the buses are already going slower than you could walk to get to the next place anyway. So that's my guess.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, not to contradict you, but they didn't stop every pavilion. They had certain stops around the lagoon, and that's the suck part, because it's like, if you wanted to go to, say, like China, the bus would pass up China, because I think there was if I remember correctly, there was a pickup at Mexico. They would pass up China, and then whatever pavilions, maybe one or two, and then you'd have to double back to go check it out if you decided to do that. But if you're going from one place to, like, say you wanted to get to Germany real quickly, you could do that. But yes, I as the hazard guy, I definitely agree. With the amount of people they have now in the parks, it's really hard to traverse World Showcase, especially with the choke point at Mexico, between Mexico and Norway. Mm-hmm. That is really, really tough to get a bus through.
Honestly, it doesn't even seem like the bus would fit through there.
It fit through there. There wasn't as crowded as before. But even worse than that, it's like when you have like people doing drinking around the world, you have those steps going up to the second floor. That's really dangerous. Especially people climbing the pyramids and whatnot. Especially people trying to get off the thing and they're drunk.
Yeah, there is that.
I can see lawsuits and stuff happening. So as much as I love the buses, I can understand why they went away.
And this was really before they did drinking around the world and all that. This was the 80s, early 90s. I think even before like
cocaine around the world.
International Food Wine kind of came into existence. So once again, it was just Now
I have a question. So you're saying that how would you know what specific stops the bus made if it didn't stop at each?
They had bus stops. They had signage along the route. I remember that.
Okay, so like the bus is going to be here.
Yeah, just like you have city buses, they had like a bus stops every couple of pavilions or so.
Oh wow! So the bus driver's not even that interactive. Like I
don't remember interaction with the bus as much. You hopped on, you got off. It wasn't like the night bus from Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
I know it wasn't like that. That would have been cool, actually. I just remember you got on. It was like, oh yeah, you're walking along, and then you got off, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah. You said this was a double-decker bus, right?
Yeah, it held 34 people.
Okay, so
think of number-wise.
No, I've ridden a double-decker bus, but that was for college. In college,
that was your ex.
It'd be there in college. That's not fun Meister, but that was a good one.
He is a fun Meister.
That was a good rip.
I picked a good title for Lee.
Now I'm traumatized again. First show of the year, traumatized. I forgot what I was going to say now. No, he took the fun right out of me.
Wow, he sucked his brain.
You know why? Because she always made you go to the back of the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No.
And I always went to the front of my wallet. It was bad.
No. I meant like to the back.
Yeah,
the back door kind of man, right?
Oh.
Yeah. No, it wasn't racial. Oh, good Lord. Never mind.
Well, I mean, it's okay. It was multifacial. Whatever.
Because she's the bus.
She's the bus.
You see what I'm saying? She's the bus. You're riding her. She wants you in the back.
If you have to explain it, the joke kind of just went out the window.
No, I'm glad he kind of did, because I kind of got all caught up. Anyway.
Hey, if I had to interrupt real quick, I need to correct something. Maybe it did stop at every pavilion.
Okay.
My ex-wife?
Maybe your ex-wife did stop.
What kind of country is this?
Now she went from being a double-decker bus to a pavilion.
I personally think Kevin has no idea. Kevin's like, well, it kind of stopped in China, but maybe it did stop in Germany, maybe not. I don't remember.
Do you have the correct information?
The reason being is because there wasn't as many pavilions back then.
That's true.
When they first opened. So maybe they actually did at one point, and then when they added pavilions, they just never added those new pavilions.
They never put it back in the route.
Yeah, because I was looking it up, and it was like, it takes you to Mexico, China, Germany, Italy, the American Venture, Japan, France, United Kingdom, and Canada, which are all pretty much the opening day pavilions, right?
Right.
Yep.
I mean, there's no Morocco, there's or whatever else. So
Norway,
or Norway, yeah. So apologies, but
no.
You're right.
So that's
all right. Go ahead. I just wanted to correct that, because I was like, someone wasn't sitting me and I had to look it up.
I mean, ex-wife's a continent. I mean, what would do? Nothing to do about
a whole continent.
Whole continent. Still in the back.
So you took that boat around the tip of that tip of that horn.
From a bus to a pavilion to a continent.
Yeah, I was Christopher Columbus. That's what happened.
You didn't plant a flag anywhere.
Well, I discovered some new territory in some other part of the continent, I hope.
So did you plow a canal through so you can get through easier?
I mean, there's a... I made a miracle happen. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, he
That's
dug the channel.
Yeah, there was irrigation. That needed to be done. Yes.
So double
Bean
decker
counter.
bus.
Bean counter.
First of all, that's tough maintenance. Second of all, because it's gonna probably be like parts and stuff from like a whole other area, so that's really expensive to keep up with. Not to mention the lawsuit from having all those people, like you said, involved in that. Now, if we cut the cost, that's less drivers, that's less cast members that have to. You said like in the very beginning, yeah.
I think
Well,
Bob Gurr was the one who designed those buses. Now
really?
Now that I think about it,
I think you're right. Yeah.
Is this true?
I think I
It's
defer to the
rumored. I don't know
professor.
if it's 100%. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what happened.
Wait, did he say it's rumor?
So,
Right.
rumor.
Yeah. It's
Rumor
like,
has
so
it.
basically it's,
Okay.
they did mainline transportation for Disneyland, which were similar buses. So I think they're saying that basically they took mine and just transferred it over to Epcot when they designed the buses there. So.
Okay, so I would think long term that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's a lot of parts and maintenance that they don't have to deal with, which means that cuts down on the amount of people that has to fix them. Fuel, like Kevin said. So getting rid of a double decker bus that saves a lot of hassle.
Yeah, I had to look it up, Danny, but the Disney Omnibus is what they called it.
Omnibus.
They called
Oh
it.
no, it's got the Omnicron too.
It does. It was first introduced in
it's a whole
Disneyland in
bus for that.
1956, designed by Bob Gurr, one of the most high-end collectible vehicles in existence.
I rule.
Yeah,
Wow, I'm glad we caught
so that makes
one.
sense. Yeah, that's awesome. And apparently, it's at this Volo Auto Museum in Illinois.
So not the rumor.
Look at that. There is one right there. We need to go to Illinois.
I like how you logistically did that.
We need to go to Illinois. All right. Sorry.
So was one of us like closer than the other one as far as like why they got rid
Well,
of it?
there's like, I don't have the distinct answer. You know what I mean?
Oh, my
but I
bad.
just kind of like to hear your kind of feedback on it. And I think generally you guys' answers are generally right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Probably
You
a
know,
little bit of
I do
everything.
have some where I do actually have the actual answer.
Oh,
but
okay.
generally,
So
yeah,
there is no reason why it went away that has been stated publicly.
correct.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Some other ones you can kind of put two to two together. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So the next two I'm going to kind of lump together a little bit just because they're kind of similar. But first off, you guys obviously remember this, and maybe you guys kind of took it. So Disney's kind of venture into the minivans.
Oh, minivans.
So this was kind of their attempt at kind of, Ubers, Lyfts, and that kind of, basically Disney wanted to kind of get their foot in that door. So did you guys ever take any of
Danny,
these?
yes.
Or-
Danny did. Yeah,
Didn't
Danny
we both
did.
take it one time? Right, because it was like no transportation. It was like really late at night. We came from a dinner.
I remember you talking about it on a trip before. You took it, didn't you?
I definitely took it to go see Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
I definitely took it with Anna one time. I think I took it twice with Anna actually when we went there. I don't remember taking it with you, but it's possible.
It's
But
when
yes.
you take it is the point.
Yes.
So this started in July 2017. It kind of expanded from, various Disney resorts. And these were Chevrolet SUVs that they just kind of converted. It held 6 passengers. They kind of made it little polka dots to kind of make it, the mini Disney kind of theme.
Cute as a button.
And in 2 years' time, it had 1 million customers.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden it's
Wow.
gone. So
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was some COVID to that. It's like made it go away, being inside a small enclosed environment.
but you're usually just by yourself. It's not like you're picking up other passengers.
Yeah, but
Usually.
you're still like I'm talking about the drivers themselves being around
Okay.
clients or customers. I don't know. I'm just
Wait, that's my job.
I'm just throwing out.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah, you're the
sanitized in
fun
between.
meister.
Yeah, make it fun, Mike.
Hey, see?
So would these be fun for you?
It depends. I think there are fun if you get the right driver. I heard stories of drivers that were giving like all kinds of cool Disney knowledge and folklore and things like that, and like being entertaining to the guests. So I think in that case, it could be entertaining for the guests as opposed to just like being on a bus with the drivers don't really interact anymore, and they just throw on the recorded spiel and stuff like that. So I think they could be fun. There could be definitely a facet of fun to them with the right driver.
Facet of fun.
Facet of fun.
Facet of
Barrett
fun.
Fawcett.
As opposed to a
of fun.
faucet, a
It's
facet.
definitely not a faucet of fun.
No,
it's not
no.
pouring out, but a little facet.
Yeah. It's
You
a
don't want
trickle.
it pouring out.
Trickle of fun.
No.
An old man drip.
It's a
Drip, drip.
That's what I said. Drippage.
Yeah, you don't want your driver dripping.
I was looking it up. So minivans were retired in October of 2020. So Lee might be right. There might have been I'm not saying it's the only reason. Maybe he's got the correct reason, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if COVID played a little bit of a part of it.
Now, is it possible that if COVID ends or we get a better control of it, then this can come back? If that theory is,
I don't think so.
It's still on the website. Eli listed as temporary unavailable. From what I heard, they're basically selling off the vehicles as fast as they can.
Right, that's what I heard. Yeah,
I don't get it because like Uber drivers are banking. I mean, I don't know if, again, maybe this is Eli's department. Maybe Disney wasn't making enough money off of it or something, like from what they had to pay the cast members to drive them. I don't know. But it seems like a no-brainer. I mean, this is the age of Uber and Lyft.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how could Disney fail with this?
Because they were charging more than Uber and Lyft.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember you saying that it was like a $70 or it was like $20 more than normal
70.
Uber, right?
It was a flat fee. Uber charges you by where you're going. It was a flat fee of like $20, $25 no matter where.
No matter how short, how long.
Yeah.
Okay.
That may have been per ride. There may have been. It's been so long.
It's vans that towards the end, Danny, and I think you're right in your cost estimates. They actually were expanding to the airport, so they were definitely looking for different like venues. So obviously, I think Kevin doesn't really have. Yeah, you could say argue the insurance. But safety wise, as long as it's the drivers are trained, I don't think there's a safety issue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other than the COVID thing, is about the other part I would mention is that because unless we're actively sanitizing between each and every set of passengers, you run that risk as well.
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's why I'm the hazard guy.
I mean, Lee is an accountant for a living, so there's no disputing what he said. But like, I think on top of that, if you're cutting into someone else's business, like Uber, if you just say you went to the airport, they probably had like a high sense of politics that they had to deal with, like fees. We had to go to the airport or something extra like that. That's probably more stuff that they had to deal with as opposed to just going from resort to park. You know what I mean? So that cost might have eaten into what they were making too.
Well, but I mean, they still have Magical Express at the time they got rid of them. So I mean, I can't imagine they were making that much on airport.
That's what I'm saying.
Runs,
they may have to have dealt with, because like you took the airport, you got taxis already there. Like,
Sure.
Uber,
already have an Uber. So now you have
Magical Express.
They're supposed to build a train.
So I don't think the airport's like, oh yeah, you Disney, come on in. They probably were like, yeah, we want.
They're like, no, you're already here.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, that's you just touched on the next topic, and now that we're talking about it, so then my next topic is the Magical Express, which just ended January 1st. So, while you take Magical Express, it would be free. The minifans where they be charging should go into the airport. Maybe they realized people are like, screw that, I don't want to take the minivans. I can go to the airport for free. But then why did the bus transportation in Disney end? Like, it started in 2005, was there for 16 years.
Didn't they have a contract with Mears and they just decided not to renew it? That's my understanding. So, I mean, they just probably got tired of dealing with the logistics of the bus transportation.
I thought there was something else about the city of Florida itself, right?
Yeah, they were building a train.
Yeah, the Brightline.
Mm-hmm.
We did a show on it.
We did a show. Yeah, that's what I remember.
The Brightline Express or whatever.
So that's politic. And as an accountant, we just didn't get the right politician to dig in his pockets as Disney at that time. But give us a few more centuries and we'll fix that.
Well, this is smack dab also in the middle of COVID, and people were not traveling to the world as much, and they were cutting you were paying for parking now. You were paying for so many things that you never had to do. I think this was a cost-cutting measure, is my guess, with the idea being that there would be a similar service by Disney offered down the line. But it just has never materialized. And maybe it is a train thing. It just, I don't know, man. That seems...
Well, it's funny about the train because it's not even built yet.
Yeah. It's like, what is it, like a 20-minute drive from the airport to Disney?
It's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. It's not bad. I don't think you need it.
Fine.
Well, what if you have a cut in this new transportation system as Disney? Then you allocate your costs towards that.
You think they're forcing to develop a need?
I don't say force. I'm just saying they might be like, hey, look, this is the future. You hop on this now while it's cheaper, then you won't have to deal with it when it's made and it's more expensive.
See, the one issue I'm having is this was a way for Disney basically to keep you on property. Hey, we'll pick you up at the airport. It was a benefit, as Lee can kind of attest, for a travel agent. Hey, you can get back and forth to the airport for free. So why would then Disney kind of cut their like quote unquote free way as a guest for you to get them. You're like basically stuck on site. You know what I mean?
My guess would be that Uber just made it affordable to be able to, like, I remember staying on Disney property and having to book the Mears shuttle to go to Universal when you wanted to before Uber and Lyft and all that existed. And man, you really needed to want to go because it was a lot of money. Being able to book an Uber or Lyft and making it so affordable, just transport yourself back and forth, it stopped being such a thing. Having said that, yeah, no, I do agree with what Keith says in the sense that it does seem like you would want to give some people incentive not to roam if you can, not to want to have to come out of pocket for transportation. I don't know. Maybe they're thinking to themselves, hey, if they're paying for a shuttle service to get on property, they won't have enough money left to pay for a shuttle service to get off of property.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Hey, you know what I used to do at the airport a lot back when I was in college, a little younger and stuff. Was I used those town car services. This is back before like Lyft and Uber were around. You pay, I would think it was like $75. They'll pick you up at the airport, drop you off at your resort, and then for the same price, part of that price, they would also pick you up from your resort and bring you back to the airport.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember guys seeing those things, but yeah, they're the little black town car things that used to pick people up back before Uber and Lyft were a thing.
I'm aware of them.
It's almost like a limo, hiring a limo, but not as expensive.
Yeah, but not as expensive.
Yeah, not as
We
expensive.
ain't got as G as you do, Kevin. So
But it was cheap then. I mean, you think about like a round trip, $75. They'll pick you
Yeah,
up,
I mean,
they'll drop
I
you
just
off.
priced out a not a limo, but like a little minivan service for a client, and it was $135 one way.
One way. Wow.
Yeah, it's just one way.
so
Yeah.
How many people?
$270 round trip. I mean, it's a van. The party. It's a party of 8, so they needed a bigger.
Okay.
So it's not terrible, but I mean, it's not cheap.
Hope they
Yeah,
play
it was
some
back in the
music.
day, the time cars that I mean, as long as you could fit in the town car, it didn't matter.
But again, I gotta feel like there's something to do with the actual cost of maintaining the fleet and all that kind of stuff that had to be a factor in here. Because, as Danny said, I mean, it's a great service if you are on the client side of it. It's free. Like, hey, I got to pay nothing to get there, and again, you have a captive audience now. There's no reason clients would be like, well, we want to go over to Universal for a day. Or we're like, well, you're really better. Your money's better spent just to spend an extra day at Disney, and let's plan a Universal vacation for next year or something like that. Because between the cost of the tickets that are going to be more because you're only buying 1 or 2 days, and the cost of getting over there for 1 or 2 days, even if you do Uber, it's still going to be like $30 or something. You're better just to spend another, again, with the ticket system that Disney has, it's good to spend just another extra $20 or so per person and just stay another day. So again, this one is one that kind of confounds me right now. And again, it's new, so maybe that's part of it, but I don't get why that such a great system that everyone loves. No one complains about Magical Express. No one complains.
They only complain about when you leave, and it's Tragical Express.
We covered this when it happened, and we were all like, there's got to be something coming down the pike. There's got to be something on the verge of being announced by Disney. And as it gets closer to the date, something's going to come up and they're going to be like, okay, here's the Disney official such and such service. And we'll take it right on property. And
even if they charged you for it.
Exactly.
There's not even that.
That's what we figured would happen, but they haven't. And like you said, Lee, I think it's a missed opportunity because I do believe people would, if they're like, hey, for an extra $10, we'll do this, people will do it as opposed to spending the $30, $40, $50 it takes if you're doing an Uber. I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head.
I mean, they have the buses, so, yeah. I don't know. But let's go on to the next one. The next one I think is pretty obvious. And I personally think this was a crazy idea. This had to be a Michael Eisner idea, pretty much. Michael Eisner came up with some really kind of crazy ideas. So let's talk about the Disney World Raceway. You guys remember this one?
The Tom Petty Raceway?
The Tom Petty, not Tom Petty. What's his name?
Tom Petty. Richard Petty.
Richard Petty.
So you can throw Tom Petty in there,
Wrong Petty.
Wrong Petty.
That's all right, Lee. Don't back down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Disney had this great idea. Let's rip up the Magic Kingdom parking lot. Let's open a racetrack. And we could hold like NASCAR events like right in the middle of the Magic Kingdom parking lot.
Ka-chow.
So, and this was before even cars kind of even existed.
No ka-chow.
No. Chowless.
No chow.
So a car, all right, so Eli, $6 million to build. Okay.
Don't do it.
Opened up in 1995. They did one race in 1996, which drew in 50,000 people, and then it just fell apart from there. Then in 1997, they're like, oh, wait, we're not really doing NASCAR races anymore. So we need to open up this driving experience where you could pay, I don't know, like $200 or whatever it was, and you could drive around the racetrack, you know, with maybe half an hour training or kind of, you know, whatever. So
I mean, as a funmeister, this is right on target, man. Like, you get to drive fast and you know, and you know,
Go fast, Lee. Get your ball.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Colombian Bam Bam.
yeah, man. So the funmeister approves of this. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, Granny says put the lid right on the jar.
Yeah,
if it costs $6 million to build, but you're not making that back.
CeeLo Green over here is going to tell you no one's going to Disney World to watch NASCAR.
No.
I'm going to help you out too, Eli. Look, we lost a lot of revenue with the lost parking spaces as opposed to the number of people booking this experience or whatever else, or the money we've made upon that. It just doesn't add up. We could have made more money by now had we not taken away those parking spots. And as far as hazard goes, to help you along too, the insurance that we had to cover the people that are either driving.
Didn't someone die?
Yeah, somebody died.
Yeah,
someone always
it's
gets hurt in
expensive.
NASCAR.
Expensive.
Yeah.
Nobody dies on Disney property.
No, you're not. You're not supposed
Nobody
to.
dies on Disney property.
No, I mean,
parking
eventually
lots,
when they
I
got
don't
him to the
They died
hospital.
at Celebration. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the final destination. So you
No,
know
but
about
yeah,
that.
there's a lot that's tied into all of our areas. Well, except for the fun.
I mean, they also built it on the cheap. They didn't think about issues. They threw together some temporary bleachers for like the race spectators. So they just it was just poorly executed.
Wow. Yeah. Wait. So $6 million? That was just haphazard.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
from what I read here, basically, there was parking issues. 51,000 people. You ripped up the parking lot. Where do you park?
Exactly.
To go to this race.
You park on the lane. That's
Now
called
you're
driving
parking on the
around.
grass versus the parking lot you just ripped up.
The Richard Petty parking experience.
Yes, or maybe you don't park. Maybe you just drive around the track and use your car and go around in a circle. as fast
I
as
like
you can go.
that.
Center field.
Or you
Right.
could have
Center field.
a drive
Turn
in.
left. Turn left.
Yeah,
Turn
a drive-in
left.
race.
I didn't realize that this was built not as an experience. It was built to actually host races.
That was the
I
original.
That I
thought
didn't know.
process.
I knew about it as the driving experience, but I never knew it was actually. I mean, why would you not just go down to Daytona? It's 40 minutes down the road. Like, that doesn't make sense.
I bet you it was Disney's attempt at trying to capture some of that.
That's what I
Even
think.
though Daytona has been around for a while.
What was the idea of the California Adventure, I guess, where it's like, hey, if you're coming here, there's no need to go see all of Florida. Let's just come right here to the Florida Adventure.
Oh yeah,
Here's
keep you
NASCAR.
we got-
You're gonna have to go
We
drive
got the
up.
Magic Kingdom, and
Right.
we got the Redneck Kingdom.
Yeah.
Right here in the same place.
So good.
And I think back in the day, they used to have race car legend Tom Petty take
Yeah, I used to love his concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going around the track.
Yeah, why
singing a song.
did they have any concerts there? That would have worked better.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, how about this? If you would have had if you wanted the customer to have the experience, how crazy would that have been when you came out from the airport and instead of like you get the bus, a Disney NASCAR pulls up and like, go ahead, put your bags right there in the trunk. We're about to get on right here. And then they like just take off. Then you end your trip right there on the track. Now maybe there you got more experience for that.
That's funny. It's like if you pay for the price to drive from the airport to the resort,
That's what I'm
the
thinking.
guy hopping is like, I got like 20 kilos of Colombian Bam Bam strap, and Florida Highway Patrol is coming at you. What you
Tom
gonna
Petty,
do? What you
Tom
gonna
Petty,
do?
can we make this happen?
Rev it up.
There's an extra 500 right there. We go ahead and beat on Smokey right there on the 1540.
Last dance with
Yeah,
Mary Jane.
I tell you what, it would make that commute to the Animal Kingdom Lodge a lot faster.
Yeah, I think that would have been a better way. Because, again, we always say, whenever you go to the park, the last thing you want to hear is, oh, it's just going to cost this much more money because you've already spent money to go there. But I'd say, yeah, making that part of the initial experience, we might have made some extra cash right there. I think we could have kept some of that back if we'd have did that.
So why did Disney say don't come around here no more?
Stop.
Keith.
Well, I think you really touched on all the ideas. There was an accident, somebody got killed, safety
And they were like,
reasons.
don't do me like that.
No.
Don't do me like
Basically,
that.
people weren't going to NASCAR races, and they weren't making money off this racing experience. So, and then eventually they ripped it down and they built a parking lot again.
They were
So,
fireballing.
They were free-falling, fireballing.
Oh,
and-
my goodness.
Man, they just got lucky.
Oh, yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit, and so we're
because we don't have to live like a refugee.
Yeah, we don't want to back down, man.
No.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
Shift gears.
Shift.
All right, so we're shifting gears away from land, and now we're moving to Disney water transportation. Now, there's a lot of it.
Water sports.
Water sports, yes.
Yes.
Well, let's first let's go back into 1991, kind of go backwards, a gentler time frame.
Gentler.
You're in the Magic Kingdom. It's early 1972. Do you want to go on this slow-moving swan boat that goes around the castle?
Oh,
The
yeah.
swan boat.
If you got your lady with you, yeah.
I remember the swan boats.
I remember the
I
swan
don't remember riding one,
I never did.
but I remember seeing them.
It was from 1972 to 1983.
Mhm.
And apparently there was 12 swan boats. Each boat held 26 passengers. There you go, Danny. There's
that's
little
big.
Yeah, that's
And
not
it
what
was
I
a
was
very-
thinking. Okay.
slow. Just picture like the boats from It's a Small World and like that speed and shape of like swan boats and just meandered slowly kind of around the castle.
So, help me understand something. So, is transportation mean? Because I didn't say anything about the Tom Petty Raceway extravaganza, but like with the swan boats, was it like did they drop you off at several places, or was it just a ride? Like when you ended up at is it transportation if you end up at the exact same place that you left?
It's kind of ride
Ride transportation.
transportation.
Transportainment.
Oh, I
Transportation.
like that. Funmeister came through on that. That's a good way to put it. So by that logic, Speedway would be transportainment.
Right.
You're there.
So call it what you want, Danny. So yeah.
Yes. Got it.
Logistically, that's what you would call it.
These are like the storyboat canal boats in Disneyland.
Right.
Kind of similar idea.
That makes sense.
Now that's still at Disneyland though. That's still running to this day.
Okay.
Disney World, 10 years give or take, and then it's gone.
So was this a non-Funmeister situation? Because it sounds kind of boring. Maybe that's
Meister has spoken.
It depends on your age in that one, I think, Funmeister. You know what I mean? Like 18 to 21, yeah, not fun. But if you're like our age, let's say right now, nice cruise around.
But it seems like you'd be out in the sun, direct sunlight.
I don't know if you're a Disney fan. Again, it's to me, it's like the Speedway, it's like the People Mover. It's like any of those rides that aren't exactly thrill rides, but it offers you unique views that you would not get anywhere else. And yes, does that classify as fun? I guess it depends on your perspective. For a child, no. For a teenager,
Okay,
no.
well, but I enjoyed the Storybook Canal. So was it similar in that experience that you would see like little dioramas or something like that, or did you just get like a different view of the castle?
I think you just got yeah.
Well, let me just kind of fill you in a bit, right, kind of to Danny's point. So you would see the castle, and this would actually kind of go around Swiss Family Treehouse, and the ride 17 minutes long, and there was a live spiel with a brief description of the attractions. And for Eli, the attraction guides were basically females. So
sounds fun. To me.
American Girl,
a lot of fun.
No, I remember they were all dressed like Sailor Moon or something.
What?
Something like that.
Yeah.
With the little.
They had like a little uniform. Yeah.
it was
Hey,
crazy.
look,
So-
that sounds a lot of fun. That sounds a lot of looking.
Yeah, a lot of
Looking.
So just from an attraction standpoint, remember the ticket booths? So E was the big attraction here. This was the D ticket.
I was going to say, this is one thing I do remember about them, and I don't remember much because we didn't go that often when I was young, but I do remember them being packed. Like, always there was a line to get on these boats.
How because it's such a slow loader? Slow
Maybe.
moving. That's only 12 boats. That's like, man. I always wanted to say it was a crowd gobbler, but it doesn't feel like it would be.
Well, 26 people in one shot, it's not too bad.
But a 17-minute, you say 17-minute trip?
Yeah, it's slow.
Well, they had 6 boats running. They said the queue could be over an hour. I think you guys kind of all touched on the reasons why this kind of went away. Do you guys see nowadays this still being in existence?
Well, yeah, I could see that being something. No, obviously not loading in the hub because they need all the space they can for fireworks viewing and whatnot.
Sitting, yeah.
So it would have to be you loaded somewhere else and you went around. But absolutely, I mean, I think
weddings, something like that. Yeah.
Weddings?
Like, in other words, like you could use it for other events besides just touring.
No, I mean, I think it's something that your average Disney fan would want to see. If you're a hardcore Disney fan, I mean, what's the point of riding the People Mover except just to get a different view? Sit down in your butt for a little bit and see something unique. See unique views, I should say.
I actually like that, Danny. If you were to board these things in a different place than the hub, but it takes you to the hub.
Exactly.
You get those views and whatnot. I think that'd be
especially
kick.
if it was more of a transportation situation where you would like the railway where you can get off at different points and be like, oh well, hey, let's take the Swan boats over to Adventureland. Boom.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Discoveryland. Discoveryland was it? Discovery River Boats in Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. Yeah,
Just about to say, Danny. I was about to.
But they were
throw that
bigger.
up.
I think they were
My
bigger,
bad.
right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
These actually did drop you off at different locations.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, these lasted, I think it said about a year. And then these was the first Animal Kingdom attraction to kind of close. Now, these were shorter. This was about 7 to 10 minutes. And then it was supposed to show kind of Beast Kingdom. You know, there's supposed to be a dragon kind of in a cave. So there's more to see than just kind of like the castle kind of view-wise. And then Disney kind of put music on it, radio DJ. They had a DJ on it. I guess people just don't like to go on stuff and get transported by boat. I don't know.
I think people are like in a rush most of the time on a trip if they overstack what they're going to do.
A lot of people don't like the
there.
slow attractions anymore. They don't consider it a good attraction unless it's fast and thrilling. Is what I feel.
You would need a dead day for something like this. Something where you're like, I don't care where we go. Just, you want to kind of see something and chill. That's what this kind of attraction in my head would be for.
Yeah, like my impression, like when they opened these boats originally, was that it was supposed to be like people kind of thought it was going to be like the Jungle Cruise or something like that, and the expectation was through the roof. And also, like Keith pointed out, and we've pointed out in previous shows, it's supposed to be a preview of Beastly Kingdom. So you were seeing not just the dragon, but there was a unicorn that you would see along the way. There was an encounter with a kraken, and there was all kinds of little cool things, a troll cave, that kind of thing. And they ended up doing away with all that when they realized they weren't doing Beastly Kingdom anytime soon. But I think once people got on there and realized, well, this isn't what we thought it was going to be, people just stopped going. And I think at one point in time, they even called it like a taxi system or something.
Disney River Taxi, yep.
Disney River. Okay, there you go. So that's the one thing. And the reason I know about that as much as I is because it's the one thing that I wish I would have rode as a Beastly Kingdom fan who really wished. It's the one thing I know I passed up riding when I was younger that I wish I would have seen.
Yeah, I agree, Danny. I'm the same way. I'm like, I wish I would have ridden that, but every time I look over the line, I'm like, okay, I'll come back later. Never came back later.
But once again, it was popular. At one point in time, it was popular. It goes to show that people will get on these things and they will experience it, but you got to give them something to see. To what we were saying before, I mean, the Storybook Canal, but I mean, they still operate, and all they're looking at is miniatures. As long as you give them something to see,
which are great.
Yeah,
I love that thing, man.
As long as you give them something to see, I mean, that's fine.
Well, kind of similar. I got two more for you. Kind of similar, kind of in these transportations that go. Is there something to see? Is it kind of a good experience? So I don't know if you guys remember. I'm going to kind of throw these two together. So Mike Fink keelboats,
yes,
and Davy Crockett canoes,
yes. I remember that. I always want to do the canoes because they look like they're having fun. Stroke, stroke.
Dude, like they still do it in Disneyland. That looks exhausting.
Yeah, it looks exhausting, but I would love to do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't disagree more. Like I look at that and I'm like, that would be fun for 3 minutes. After that, I feel like I'm going to be rolling with the Winklevoss twins and say, screw this. Done.
I don't know, from the safety guy and the logistic guy, is this more like beef, or is there like fatter people in Florida, or kind of, you know what I mean? Because they still have it in California.
They have a lot of that stuff still in Disneyland. It's kind of interesting.
They're a little bit more honoring of the things that came before it than what Disney World is.
Yeah, it's just interesting that, back in the 70s, early 80s, these were more quote unquote popular attractions, and then as they opened the Big Thunder and Mountains, everyone's like, I don't need to go on this boat that kind of goes nowhere.
The boat to nowhere. Now that's a ride, Keith.
Where you going? Nowhere.
It's funny because the keel boats look like party barges if they would have rented it out like that. Because it's like this little boat and like people are piled up and stuff, and it's like, man, if they had drinks and stuff, It'd be like one of those pirate things you see in like Baltimore Harbor.
Wow.
You know?
I'm sure Keith is going to be getting into this hopefully coming up, but I mean, that's what I want to hear about is the world cruise and the moonlight
Yep,
cruises.
that's what we're getting to next.
They were
Yeah.
because they did have cocktails.
They
and
did.
stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's kind of jump into that one. This is really fascinating. So let's talk about the Disney World Bay Lake and the Seven Seas Lagoon transportation. So there was all kinds of like boats and transportations. And the funny thing is like Disney obviously opened October 1st, 1971. If they're not too busy, couple smaller boats that hold like 32 guests, you know, not too bad or whatever. And then they get slammed for Thanksgiving. And they're like, we need like more boats in the water to transport guests. So I think when they built the whole lagoon, you know, with the transportation ticket center, they had the monorail, but I think they really underestimated how popular it was. And the next thing you know, they're screaming, like, we need basically any kind of ferry boat. And they actually reached out of Staten Island to get as big of boats as they could pretty much get.
Give us all your boats. You're tired, you're hungry. All your boats.
Yeah, so then they got these ferry boats, which then started holding between 600 and 650 people. So,
Wow.
yeah, so, I mean, even to this day, if you think about it, so I think about less than a month ago, I don't know if you guys saw this, they built this stairway so now it connects it from the top level and the bottom. From a logistics standpoint, that makes sense, but just needs to kind of move these people kind of back and forth or whatever. So Danny, let's kind of jump into kind of what you're talking about, kind of these, you know, cruises at night kind of. You had these Sidewinder boats. So these were actually boats that had paddle wheels sides of them. These were more kind of your quote unquote entertainment boats at night. Like, so at Disney World now, you can't really, I mean, they have that ferry boat firework cruise, kind of, sort of. And they used to have that one with like Peter Pan where you can kind of go see the fireworks.
I did that one.
Oh, you did?
Fun.
Yes.
There's not like food and stuff on the cruise. You have snacks and drinks on
Before you leave.
Contemporary.
Yes.
Then you get on the boat.
Yeah.
So it's not really like you're not doing that on the boat.
No, right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just picturing like this is your 1970s. The guy's going on wearing his suit. The girl's kind of going on in a nice dress. They're going for cocktails and kind of food actually on the boat. And this so the first one they did was the World Cruise, and this was basically a 50-minute cruise where they would on the lake and pretty much you would just drink and have food. And it was like $5 or something back in the 70s.
Wow.
So, from a safety guy chimes in here, logistic guy chimes in here, guy, just.
Well, Keith, I might be wrong. Maybe you can check. So my memory is that the World Cruise was the one that you went on during the day, and the Moonlight Cruise, obviously, you went on at night.
You stand corrected. I'm getting my World and Moonlight mixed up.
Yes.
You're correct, Danny.
And during the World Cruise, you would board the boat, and they'd have refreshments. I'm not sure about cocktails. I don't think there was live entertainment, but they had like a spiel, like a recorded spiel that you would listen to, and it would tell you all about the history of how Disney World got built and what's coming, because this was like before Epcot even opened.
That would have been awesome.
Yes.
It's kind of like a tour, I guess.
Yes.
Like a tour boat. Gotcha.
Exactly. And then at night, it would be cocktails, a Dixieland Ragtime Band, and you went from a 50-minute cruise to like a 90-minute cruise. And it was, it
was a party.
It was, the adult cruise. And so.
Like the Lido deck and the carnival.
But I mean, the thing about
Happens on the Moonlight Cruise, stays on the Moonlight Cruise.
That's right, baby.
But what's amazing to me about this is because, you got to consider there was no Epcot, so there was nothing to do at Disney at night. So these night cruises, you've heard about drinking around the world. This is like drinking around freaking Bay Lake.
Yeah,
Right,
but they had
right.
control of you because you're stuck on their boat.
Exactly.
Unless you jumped out, and then that would have been interesting.
People have done that.
Yes. Yeah, they were jumping out trying to find the wave machine. At the
Spoken
Poly.
like a safety master.
Right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You're like, you own on that one. That's not on property. That's
Yeah, but
in
it
water.
goes to him because the insurance we have to put up for that.
That's fair, but I was gonna say, I like that idea. This seems like this idea was a little bit ahead of its time.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
And I can
Yeah.
see that totally working now, but for a certain elite crowd of people.
Now you say that, and again, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe so. What ended up happening is, as time went on and they opened up more things, there were more options and less people. They started booking this out as a like a charter cruise that you could take, like a business could be like, hey, you and
all your
80 of
people
your
look cool.
Yeah, all your employees come on over here and
live
do
it
this
up.
whole thing.
Yeah, these were your IBMs. You kind of, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I could totally see that.
I could see if you could make more money off of this if you had you have the boat and then you give everybody like a checklist, let's say. Like you said, it was a band and all this, and they have an option of different types of music, different types of options to choose from with this boat ride. Oh yeah, that would go over like gangbusters at night, and that's an exclusive thing. And let's face it, now we're talking future, right? We're talking future Disney or whatever, going to the present. Exclusivity becomes a thing. And so this is another upper echelon thing you can have if you so choose. So yeah, that would be a good money maker. Now, maybe not then, sir, professor, but yeah, definitely not. That would have made a killing.
This would be something I would pay for 100%. To Eli's point, this could be especially let's say a New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
man.
Oh, yeah.
And how much they're charging?
Bank.
How much are they charging right now for the part to eat at the Contemporary? Can you imagine being out on the lake watching the fireworks at midnight?
Yeah.
You could charge $500-$600 a head easy.
I was going to say, you get a whole checklist of all kind of options you could have, multi-tiered options.
Desserts.
You can rent a boat right now for, I think it was $400 for up to 10 people. And they do have snacks and stuff like that included. So yeah, I mean, they have something like it right now, but it's not as extravagant as what this could be.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. It was more of a thing it's a special charter kind of situation that you can still do to this day, but it's not on a paddle wheel boat.
And I think, Danny, to your point, there was nothing to do. You know what I mean? The park closed. There was no Epcot open late at night kind of thing. So this was a great opportunity to get the adults out. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, part of it is the money guy kind of got involved. Safety guy got involved. Funmeister still wants to have fun and party in the boat, but the logistics guy got involved too. What happened over time is these boats just kind of started falling apart. Some of them got damaged and they had to get parts and that kind of thing. And just over time, Epcot opened up, got less popular. Combination of the two kind of just slowly died. So, all right. So let's next talk about kind of similar to the Sidewinders, which I kind of love that Disney kind of had this idea. So you guys ever hear of the Chinese Junket?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I talked about that when I did the Contemporary show.
Yeah, so this was kind of a Chinese kind of junket boat that they had kind of in the Polynesian, maybe they had it kind of at one point in the Contemporary as well. So this was called the Eastern Wings, and this was a 65-foot Chinese junk, and it was there from 1970 to 1978, and it had a bar kind of on the boat. And this was kind of just, jump on the boat, kind of just go out into the water, hit the bar, go see the fireworks. For couples, it was $8 and $10 for a family.
That's
And
crazy.
for you younger listeners, a junk is a type of Chinese sailing ship with fully battened sails. It is not Chinese junk.
I really thought you were going with your second definition first.
I wanted to clarify because somebody would be like, hey, Chinese junk. No, not that kind of junk.
Well, I was wondering what you were going to do with all that junk.
all that junk is
I was going to put that
Is that
junk
my
in your
trunk?
your hubs.
My humps. My lovely lady lumps.
Your lovely Chinese junk.
Check it out.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now because I don't remember that.
I remember us talking about it on the podcast, but I don't remember seeing it.
What year you were born, Danny?
74.
4 years old. You're not like, oh, look at the big giant Chinese junket boat or whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't
junk.
I wasn't
You know.
staring at any Chinese junk when I was 4.
Maybe you couldn't find it.
No.
Yeah, I watched Sanford and Son when I was, young. I mean,
They had a
had
junk?
junk in there.
They had a junk?
truck. Yeah, the
They had a
junk.
junkyard.
Right? Yeah. The junk guy there,
And then brothers had some junk.
But I mean, can you just imagine, like you said, can you imagine just a corporate, group, IBM or whatever, just kind of renting this thing out, kind of just the parties and, everything that they kind of, had there. So I think just over time, it's kind of just once again, one of those Disney ideas that I'm just kind of, maybe this isn't the best idea. So I don't know.
think this is a Funmeister special, man. This should make a comeback.
Yeah, no, I'm reading the advertisement. It says each cruise approximately an hour and a half is a separate adventure in and of itself with complimentary cocktails and exciting.
Complimentary.
Yeah, so this time because in the World Cruises you had to pay money for the cocktails, and this time for the extra money you get complimentary cocktails. Plus, you get to glimpse the water show at 6
For $8?
No way those prices stay the same in today's world. But
Oh yeah,
You'd have to
yeah,
adjust
this-
it, Mr. Accountant.
Depending upon the time
course.
schedule you book this. Glimpse the Water Ski Show at 6, the Electrical Water Pageant at 8:30, or Fantasy in the Sky Fireworks at 10. So, yeah, man, that's pretty cool. $8 for a couple. Singles, $4, or the entire family, $10.
So which one was more popular between the two?
My junk.
You're not
Well,
Chinese.
All that junk.
I'm not Chinese. You're right.
I'm just looking at the time frame. I would have to say, just based on the time frame, Eli, I think the Sidewinders were a little bit, because they kind of closed around 82, while the Junket lasted to around 77, 78. So 3 or 4 years time frame, I guess, difference. So
It tells you how desperate they were for nighttime entertainment. They're like, man, look, that's the only entertainment we get. Go get drunk on a boat.
Yeah, and don't jump off it.
Go get drunk on a junk.
It's the Natalie Wood experience.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
man.
man.
Are you this tall to get on this boat? We want to make sure. You got to swim back if you jump off of it.
So the next thing is they had these what were called bob around boats.
Bob
So these were kind of
They were Bob and Neil boats.
Bob around.
Yeah, they're the Shawnee boats.
Get a boat.
Bob around the boat. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these
Boat
were kind
around?
of these were round boats, like circular boats with like a canopy on it, with like the kind of 1970s red or kind of blue kind of stripes, and it had a little kind of electric kind of boat in the back, and you kind of just spun around,
They
or
were like
not
bumper
really,
boats.
kind of, but there was really no bumper, but it.
You're in a boat being towed by another boat, is what you're saying?
Disney
No, it
Bob
had
around
like a
boats?
little motor, like a trolley motor.
Yeah, how I could try motor, right? But it was a circular boat with this like probably steel or kind of whatever kind of on top, and it was interesting because it had a lightning rod on top. There's a safety, Mr. Safety Officer.
How many
yeah.
people would fit on these boats?
Maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, not
Maybe.
Oh
much.
my
They were
God.
decent size.
Okay. So I'm looking at it. I'm
Yeah,
trying
I'm
to think of a
looking
way
at it
to
too.
explain it.
Yeah, that's
It's
why
like
I
a
kind of trying to
tent
describe it.
above a bathtub with a lightning rod above it.
Yes. That's
Yes.
exactly it.
Pretty much.
If you take like one
Like
of
a
those
top.
raft rides
you
and you
flip
put a
it.
top on it.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
you want to see it here?
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, if you took a raft ride like from Kali River Rapids, you put a little tent above it and then a lightning rod
Okay.
sticking up. That's what you got. That's a bob around.
It's
Oh,
a circular
wow.
boat
Yes.
with a
Yeah.
Looks like a big donut with a lampshade over it. That's essentially.
That's
There
about
you go.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like if a bathtub and a tent had a baby.
Yeah, that's totally 70s right there. That's a totally old school look. That would not have.
But then she cheated on the Mad Hatter.
and
with
came
the
out with
Kilos,
another
yeah.
head with a different side.
Yes, that's right.
But how? There ain't no way you're not gonna get seasick on that.
Yeah, that's too. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
How do you
It's gonna-
steer that?
in a
A
circle.
little motorboat, but I would imagine you kind of just went around in circles a lot, you know?
Yeah,
So,
Exactly.
you're never supposed to go in circles with your motorboat either. For the record, you're just.
Oh, you're not?
No, you're side to side. Never in a circle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There you go.
I thought I was in orbit. No?
So what happened to these?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What did?
Yeah,
happen to
what
these?
did-
it's interesting, but like
killed
I'm
it?
just kind of looking at some of the other boats. I think these were just, it's the 1970s. Disney's just kind of throwing out recreation. So the other kind of boats you could rent a war canoe, or you could
wait,
rent your own
stop.
ski boat with
Stop.
with a
Time out.
Stop
driver.
that war canoe.
Yeah, you
I
got
want
me
a war canoe.
Yeah, what war canoe?
Like-
what you get to do with the war canoe? You get to
And it was only $1 per person.
yes,
like-
to do.
You know what they say? War canoes are good canoes.
I just say that's a cool. First of all, that's a cool name for anything. Second of all, that should have been a very interactive thing to have done. You'd have gone against another war canoe. Think that'd have been awesome. You'd have sold some tickets.
Dude, with
I don't know,
Moana?
like war canoes. That it's like an oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp or something. You know, like
Hey kids, let's go in the war canoe
yeah,
and battle
sorry.
that other canoe. You know what I mean? It's like
Okay.
I declare war. In canoe.
Look, there's no canoes like war canoes.
That's the cutest little war you could ever have.
That's going to be a quick war. I didn't realize how low into the water that was.
You know, obviously this was just some of the
Great
1970s kind of, you know, like you could rent your own ski boat with a driver, like, and then for $10 more, you can actually get an instructor to learn how to water ski. You know, it's just funny.
Where were these housed at? These war canoes?
I'm guessing the Polynesian, you know what I mean? It was only the Polynesian and the Contemporary back in the day. There's no Grand Floridian.
There was no Fort Wilderness? Because that to me would
have been cool. Yeah,
this seems like a perfect fit for Fort Wilderness.
Well, this is, I mean, they kind of remind me of the Davy Crockett Explorer canoes over Disneyland.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
It's almost kind of the same thing.
So, I mean, probably for the same reasons, they probably just kind of, you know, just times change, you know, Funmeister, hey, this is fun, but over time, maybe, you know, I don't know, not as fun or safe or whatever, money, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had a good grasp on this stuff until I heard about Bob Around Boats, Chinese Junket, and war canoes. I'm like, mind blown over here.
These are fun terms. I'm going to name my next.
So just kind of fun to kind of look how, you know, 1970s Disney. You know, this was specifically 1973 versus kind of nowadays, 50 years later. It's kind of, yeah. All right. So, so just kind of another thing we kind of touched on a little bit is they actually had a water skiing show, which they ran for 2 summers, 1972, 1973, and ran 5 times daily in the Seven Seas Lagoon. And you could see Pluto, Goofy, you know, all the Disney characters on kind of water skis.
I remember seeing pictures of this. That would have been awesome. Because it's kind of like Cypress Gardens, which was like not far down the road.
I was like, dang.
They used to do a lot of that stuff.
Insurance is high, but keep that. I want to see that.
And the thing is, I don't know, but apparently they charge you to see this. But, like, how would they charge you? Because couldn't you just see it from, like, the beach or what, you know? It's weird.
And they tack it onto your hotel room. I saw you looking at it, Bill. And they slip it under the door.
Gonna charge you.
Yeah, they slip it under the door. Slip it under that door and say, "Hey, there you go."
They're like, "Hurry up, baby! Let's get out for the checkout. Slide the paper under the door.
Pay for it."
Why is he gonna worry about that?
You know, water skiing was obviously popular back then, so it made sense. You know,
okay.
They had humans as well, but yeah, look at that. That's Tigger. That's Pluto. That's Goofy.
Water skiing.
On water skis.
Man, that's worth the price of admission right there. It's one thing to have a character walk up to you while you eat breakfast, but water skiing, that's pretty fresh. Sorry. Keep that one.
Yeah, I think it would be cool, you know, nowadays, you know.
That would have been neat. I remember vaguely seeing some of that.
Yeah, I remember seeing it from like the ferry boat, just kind of going by. Hey, there's Goofy or something. Yeah,
I remember seeing it for the ferry boat too. Yeah, that's what I was
don't
thinking.
remember this at all.
I mean, it was rare, to be fair. It was rare.
It wasn't like a certain time.
But when you saw it, you're like, really? Did I just see that? Yes, you did. But it's part of the whole thing because back in the days, like Cypress Gardens was still in existence, and that was their whole shtick was that whole skiing show where they stacked up on a pyramid.
Yeah,
and the boat was pulling them.
That's killer.
It was a big thing. So it's like, yeah, it made sense. They wanted a piece of that as well.
So how long did it run until?
It would run 2 summers.
Just 2 summers.
Just 1973.
Dang.
1972 and 73? Well, how do you remember this?
I swear I remember seeing skiers. No, I remember seeing like those characters. Maybe it was like a one-off.
He was
maybe I never saw the
reincarnated.
actual.
Well, I think Kevin, what they did over time, and we're probably going to the 80s. I don't think they had the water ski show, but they just had the characters like water skiing behind a boat.
That's probably what it is.
That is true because
That's
I'm
what I
looking
remember,
at it says Disney World 1991 and it's Pinocchio on water skis.
I'd still pay to see that.
Right, so they were dragging whatever character can water ski out there. You
with
know?
legs. Yeah, any character with legs.
Whatever costume was waterproof.
And then they came across Ariel and like, why is Ariel water skiing?
Yeah, you're right. You're never see Mary Poppins.
Can you imagine nowadays the Disney princesses like in their little bikinis or whatever?
Jasmine?
You know?
Oh, well,
yeah.
You book that Moonlight cruise, they're all topless, I hear.
Oh, boy.
You'd
be like, you coming on some matters? No, I'm good.
Hey,
Right
extra
here.
money for that.
Right by the wall. I'm right here. I'm
Give me
good.
some of that Tiana. Give me that beignet.
Right? I need some glistening.
I want both of those beignets.
All that. That's right. You're going to see a war canoe that day.
I'm just picturing Kevin's face with a
What?
covered in powdered sugar. Motorboat in that water ski. All right, go ahead. I'm
It's
sorry.
so fattening.
Let's kind of shift away from Seven Seas Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake. So let's now head back into the Magic Kingdom. And I know you guys remember this attraction, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Great stuff. Love
which is
it.
still running at Disneyland. Once again, an attraction still at Disneyland, but not at Disney World. So
slightly different boats.
Yeah,
different boats.
It's just submarines over there, but yeah, exact same ride system.
Yes,
you're right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Open October 14th, 1971. Closed September 5th, 1994. So 15, 20 years. Something like that with my math.
That attraction is still iconic to me to this day because it was the first time that I realized Disney would change things. I remember bringing my then girlfriend, not soon to be wife, but eventually to be wife.
You're back in time. So.
Right, I'm back in time. And bringing her there and getting to where 20,000 and seeing the area where it was, seeing the track and not seeing any boats and being like, no, it's right here. It's right. It was right here. I'm telling you. Wow. Okay. Maybe they're doing something and then like, let's go see Mr. Toad. And oh, wait a minute.
You lied to me.
Really kind of for the first time really understanding that, because this was back in the time where I didn't have enough money to go every year like we do now. I was at the whim of my parents, and so we went when we went, and then when we finally had some money and I was able to take Anna, man, it just being like, let me show you this. Wow, that's gone. Like the concept that a theme park would change its rides never occurred to me until we made a beeline. We made a beeline because I love 20,000 Leagues, and we made a beeline for it, and it was gone. It was like,
you showed up and it was like, what?
Yes,
I'm standing where it used to be.
Right.
I promise you. I promise.
Like, was there ever that moment, Kevin, as many times as you went back, maybe you never had that moment, but there was a distinct moment like that, like, they can't have just got rid of it. Like, what the hell happened to that thing?
No, my realization was like, I'm here, I'm standing where it used to be. What is going on?
What was that ride for you?
Kevin was like, goes, finds a cast member. Hey, what happened to them Skyliner things?
You did it.
Oh, we'll talk about the Skyway next. So
you remember that splat on the ground?
What'd you do with all that money I tossed in there?
I know what you did
I want my
15
money
years ago.
But yeah, that's what I'll always remember 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea for. It was being one of my favorite rides as a kid, making a beeline to go see it when we went back with Anna, and it being gone and having no clue because this is back. You didn't look at the internet before you went to Disney.
Right.
Right.
There was barely any.
Right.
Back then, yeah.
Well, the lagoon sat there for years.
Yeah, they finally covered it up, and it's no longer there.
Ain't there no more.
Poof, gone like Kaiser Soze.
Yep.
Went underwater.
Once again, one of these slow-moving boat rides that probably just,
It went to the depths of Davy Jones' locker.
And of course, it's tied to a certain property that probably not too many people know about as the years go forward, right? So
back when we were kids and we didn't all have ADHD,
Right.
Yeah, and like we could all sit there and enjoy a slow moving ride. Now you can't have that.
No, it has to all
now
be
everyone's
fast.
on their phones probably on the ride.
Right.
You know,
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's now move. We went to the land. We went to the sea. Let's now head to the air, and let's talk about close down the Skyway. Kevin?
That's my fault.
Yes. 100%.
I contributed a lot to the fact that the Skyway closed.
You didn't contribute. You did it.
I did it, yes.
Yeah,
and you could board it from two different stations. You had the Skyway to Tomorrowland. You had the Skyway to Fantasyland. It was an open air. It had and you guys may think, listeners, you may think that the what's the Skyliner has the 90-degree turn. But if it wasn't for the Skyliner in Magic Kingdom, that 90-degree turn would have never existed because that's the first system that had the Disney designed 90-degree turn for any kind of cable car like that.
Yeah, you turned right when you were
right by the lagoon. Yeah, right by the lagoon.
Yeah,
you had that. It was you turned. It came out from Tomorrowland. It made that turn and went, and you headed into Fantasyland. Yeah, that was like a big draw. And I remember I think it might have been one of the big marketing things because it's like, we have the only cable sky bucket system with a 90-degree turn. It was like a big thing. And I loved the Tomorrowland station. It was beautiful because they had like tiered fountains and everything else. I used to throw coins in those fountains too.
I know.
But man, it was great. I mean,
you killed two attractions. You realize that both 20,000 Leagues and the Skyway, because people were driving across in the Nautilus, looking out like, look, the squid's attacking, and one of your quarters floated down. You're like, oh, the squid's is small in the corner. Floated in
Ruined
front
the
of my
moment.
screen. Yeah.
Swing it back. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
And no squeal.
Oh my God, that was some of my best memories of Disney World.
Yeah, you asshole.
I love
Traumatized us
To you
twice.
guys that love the Skyliner, you ain't got nothing in the buckets because this was wide open.
Yes, it
I mean,
was.
literally, you could stick your hands out.
Mhm.
I mean, people back then didn't think about jumping off of those dang things.
No.
You didn't have to enclose it. It was a lot of ventilation, especially in the summers. It was great. It was a great little mode of transportation.
So as a safety guy, as opposed to young Kevin, you still say, "Hey, that was
as a
safe."
safety guy, I curse myself. But
Okay,
it's
just
okay.
checking. Just checking.
You know,
Yeah.
You'd have a lifetime ban.
I'd have a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
But I scored a lot of points in my head based upon where I placed my coins. It was great. I even tried to land it on the Fantasyland attractions, but it was a little harder.
Well, you
'Cause
know,
they'd bounce. You know, they wouldn't just plop like in the water. They'd bounce, and then you would miss your target, and it's like, well, dang it, man. Now I got to ride it again, try to get it on there. Try to get into the little chimney stack of the Pinocchio's Village House kitchen or something. I don't know.
I landed a quarter on the table over in
I know, you did
Disneyland
good. That was killer.
at what was it, Millennium Falcon?
mhm.
It might still be there.
It might still be there.
So Kevin, what do you think compared to the Skyliner? You can't throw money out now.
Well,
he's,
you can't.
he's still working on it.
I gotta
figure
figure
He's
out
trying
what
to
I
figure
do.
out a
Yeah.
way.
But they got cameras in these new things. They didn't have cameras back then.
That's true.
And stuff. But yeah, no, I mean the Skyliner is a nice throwback for me riding that thing. It's a lot bigger. I mean, it used to be smaller. The Sky Buckets over the Skyway over in Magic Kingdom was a lot smaller. Maybe you could fit 4, maybe 5 if the 5th person was small enough. And the Skyliner is a lot bigger than that. But it was a very nice throwback, especially when the Skyliner put in that 90-degree turn. I was like, I'm glad they decided to do that because that was like such a Disney thing. I remember them hyping that 90-degree turn on the Sky Buckets like so much.
Now that I think about it, was your parents just feeding you money and letting you throw? Because I mean, like you had no money as a kid. Where are you getting all this change to this pitch in the lagoon?
I have no idea.
Your parents were just letting you do it.
I don't know. I think I blocked out that part of my
You
memory.
were like their honey boo boo,
Probably.
weren't you? You were.
They enabled me.
Yeah, boo boo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like he went on with a bag of change and said, "Okay,
Right.
guys, you know."
Or
Like,
did I?
yeah.
Where's he getting this change from? It's like his parents are feeding it to him. They're like, "All right, son, hit the mermaid in the lagoon."
Could be
parents were
my
making a
Christmas thing, you know. It could be my Christmas stocking. I got some coins.
It was like the
Could be good.
Frontierland. You could use this money at the
That's what it is.
Frontierland arcade.
That's what it is. That's
Or
exactly.
Or the Skyway.
Because I found the quarters were so much better to flick off of the thing. So that must have been it. I must have gotten like a roll of quarters or something for the Frontierland shooting out cannon. I saved some specifically for the Skyway. And I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I guarantee you, I could believe young me thinking like that. Like, oh, I could spend like $5 and shoot everything up, and then I'll toss the rest of the $5 off into the 20,000 Leagues Lagoon. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can hit those little those step fountains at the Tomorrowland station.
You do get a better visual with the second version of that. I admit.
Yeah, you know,
I could just say,
that's
like,
true.
if I did that, a backhand would have came straight to my face.
I ain't even getting started.
Like it would
You got to be slick, you know. It's like when
It would have
they're
been a
lucky, you
race to
just
see
gotta flick.
which one hit me first, mom or my dad.
Oh, you
Like
got
Kevin is like going for accuracy, and no one's stopping him.
no one's
You got to do it when they're not looking.
Like,
You gotta be slick.
How you not? Everybody's on the sky bucket.
Well, they just
No, you
sleeping?
hang the quarter off the. You stick your hands out. You just casually lay your hand on the side,
Oh.
and oops, I dropped.
That's why you weren't accurate.
Gravity took my
That's why you weren't accurate then. You just had
I
the
don't
hand
know.
out, just like, hey, mom and dad, look at the bird
Well,
about
I
to
mean,
land, and
if
then
you
you drop
time
it.
the speed at which you're going, at which the target you were trying to hit, it's kind of like a World War II bomber. You just kind of you drop it, and it came down, and it just hit.
Spoken like a career criminal.
Oh man,
Yes.
dude's killing me right now.
Man, I mean, it's quarters, so I donate a lot of money to
Yeah,
Disney.
my parents would have. Yeah, my parents would have knocked me out. They're like, you just wasted $5 on what?
Now there are some where I stuck it
You
on
gotta
the
eat
side
with
of the
that.
buckets, and I flicked it. My parents were like, "Hey, no."
Oh, then you were like, okay.
Oh, so your parents did correct you.
Yeah.
Once. And he was like, okay, look that way again.
But knowing me,
You did it again.
I know. I figued out a way around it.
Yes, indeed.
Well, you
I
were
was
an only child.
I was an only child. I was
You were an
creative.
only child.
so I could figure this out.
I understand now.
Okay.
I got very creative as an only child.
And hurt people. But it's okay. Go ahead.
I didn't. I always landed in the water.
You don't know that.
In my mind, I know.
In your mind, you hope.
There could be some old dude walking around with a coin slot in his head.
I know, right?
From where you hit him.
Hey, he's a quarter richer now.
Some dude figured out the cure for cancer walking around Disney at one point, and the quarter like stuck in his head. He's like, "What was I doing? What was I gonna fix? Oh yeah, my carburetor."
Gravity.
Right, you know,
Gravity.
Oh, wow.
Skyway was great.
That's awesome.
It was great.
And then Kevin killed it.
Yeah, Kevin
killed it. Yes.
Yes.
Kevin
And then eventually Kevin went to some other theme parks, did the same thing, and then all the Skyways shut down, if you noticed,
Yeah.
all over the country. So,
Well, it's funny. It's like a lot of people argue at this point is like the fact that it's shut down is because it was bad show. Because you would see the top of like the Fantasyland pavilions and whatnot.
No, I was just so amazed being up there, like looking down, like this is so cool. Like
it is neat.
I was just enraptured. Now again, maybe if I would have gone like every year, like you were going, I would have been like, this sucks. Yeah, I don't mean make my own little game out of this, but no, I was in awe.
Oh, I love the Skyway. Yeah. The thought of bad show didn't even cross my mind.
Mm-mm.
I thought it was a great thing. I love the views that it gave me. Yeah.
I mean, doesn't the Skyliner, how much back show you see there,
But I think they've developed it. I mean, there is a lot of back show that you do, but I know when you're entering Epcot through France, they've done a lot of things to kind of cover it up. Even though it looks like a backstage, you don't see too many backstage activities happen.
And your mind always focuses on what's interesting. So, I mean, you just tend to kind of, skim past that stuff that's just kind of like, what was that?
It's like going back to that earlier episode where I did with the psychology, where they had basically the green paint.
Yeah.
Where everything blends in. You're not going to look at that. You're going to look at what's interesting.
Going
yeah,
in green, yeah. Absolutely.
Very well said, yeah.
All right, so the final topic we have is air. And this is always kind of one of these kind of like Disney kind of legend, kind of myth kind of thing, but it actually did exist, is Disney's own airport.
What?
Oh,
I do remember that. Not because I know of it, because I've read about it.
Hearing about it, yeah.
So I remember, like, so you're driving on the main road kind of heading towards the Magic Kingdom right before you kind of go into, well, now they have that overpass towards like the toll booths. There was this on the right hand side where the monorail is, there was a big stretch of land where they now have like storage containers and stuff like that. And that's where the airport was. So, going back to the 1970s, specifically, when Disney World opened up, there was no Orlando airport. So they used the Air Force Base. It was called McCoy Air Force Base. And it was kind of a civil military kind of joint operation. So they would kind of have, it was called a stall airport, STOL, which basically was kind of for short takeoff and landings. This, in the 1960s, this was kind of big, and this was a way to transport people kind of short distances to kind of avoid car and bus kind of congestion.
Hey, Keith, you brought up McCoy Air Force Base. Just for anybody that's wondering, that's why Orlando Airport is coded MCO for McCoy.
Oh, wow. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Nicely, yes.
Because I always wondered why Orlando Airport was coded MCO. I was like, what the heck's MCO?
So then why are we coded MSY?
Moisant Field.
What?
Huh.
Yeah, I forget what Moisant Field was, but that's what it is.
Wait, you would say that one more time?
Moisant Field.
Moisant?
Moisant, yeah.
Can I buy a vowel?
I was going to say.
It's good in French. Moisant.
Oh.
Moisant Field. That's why it's MSY. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, man. No, I do remember hearing about it. Maybe that's their plan. Maybe they're going to reopen the airport space, and that's why they're doing away with this Magical Express thing, because who needs it?
Yeah.
You're just going to land right there, and they get the revenue that comes from the planes.
They're just going to take over the plane. You're going to parachute off the plane.
Yes.
Yeah,
come on, Funmeister.
Skydive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Funmeister here. We're just going to
There's
take
the
up an airplane,
Funmeister again.
skydive, and then just land in your resort there.
I like that. That's the Point Break experience.
And they have like a bullseye, and whoever gets closest to the bullseye wins like a fast pass.
Oh, man.
I like that.
Or like the bullseye will dictate how much you pay for your room. Like, the bullseye, the cheaper the room.
Yes, the closer you get, like, so you can get 5% off if you're out there, 10 to 15, and then 20.
Ooh, free dining!
Oh.
We're meat waffle.
Yes.
I'm like Buckshot. I drop my whole family of 5 and land on something.
You're like, wait, hold up, girl. Slow down. I got it. Wait. Oh, wait, one more
Free dining. Hey, Granny's spot.
It's okay. She was small. You a little taller. You next. All right. There we go.
We lost Granny.
She's in the woods. She's
over at Fort Wilderness.
Oh man,
stuck in a tree.
That'd be funny. Like wherever you land, that's the hotel you land. Like be like Plinko.
Come on, Grand Floridian. Come on, Grand Floridian.
oh my god.
Yeah,
Looks like
you pay
Grand
the
Floridian,
same,
and there's your room.
but wherever you land, yes, that dictates what you.
And if you crash into a room, that's what you get.
All right, Fun Meister, you did it. I like it.
I like it, dude.
good job,
Johnny Utah style.
Yeah, so basically what this was is, so there was an airline called Shawnee Airlines. It was a private commuter service, and there were 7 flights a day, and basically kind of hopped over from the Air Force Base kind of over to Lake Buena Vista, Disney World. And over time, since there really wasn't an airport, Disney kind of did some research back in the 1960s. Basically, they had the Imagineers looking, and there was going to basically be a job opportunity for 400 people for Disney actually to have their own airport. So Disney was thinking way ahead of kind of even the city of Orlando, basically, in building their own airport. So, in 1991, it was supposed to employ 2,000 people, and they were going to have, hotels kind of built about the airport and stuff like that. And then various reasons, it just kind of fell apart. 1973, oil embargo. They could never convince a major airline carrier to kind of, come to the airport. The list kind of just goes on and on. But
that's highly financial. That's got to be. None of that is cheap.
Yeah, and that's kind of wraps up kind of all our kind of quote unquote Disney extinct transportation. So now you guys kind of need to buckle up. Say goodbye to the 1970s and your big high-powered jobs. They need to kind of transfer you guys kind of back to 2022 and back to realities.
You know,
We're gonna go back to the future. Our kids assholes.
What's this COVID?
yeah. What?
Back to
Kids, assholes.
I'm still making the same amount of money because the money conversion changed not that much.
buy some Disney tickets now and then come back and be like, I bought it for 10 cents back in 1970.
You owe me.
Back in my day, it was only $8 to get drunk on the junk boat.
What's these A&E tickets? I don't know what to do with them. So
I invested in Apple, guys, so next trip's on me.
Oh,
there you
wow.
go. So,
Sweet. No, all right, so we're back. All right.
Here we are in the present. Yay.
Land, sea, and air.
Well, that was a really good take us through all this transportation stuff. I'm really appreciative of that, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
yeah,
Professor.
so it'd be just kind of fun, help kind of.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There is one you forgot.
What's that?
The Fort Wilderness Railroad.
Fort Wilderness Railroad.
Yes, we can talk. I thought you kind of covered it already in a previous episode.
No, you
If you
did.
want to talk about it?
yeah.
We can, or I did, or it's up to you guys. So.
Well, let's just mention it before anybody writes in and just say, yes, we're aware there's a Fort Wilderness Railroad.
Listen to our show.
Go listen to
Right, the episode talking about the history of Wilderness Lodge. I think we covered it there, and then we did an episode about Fort Wilderness, kind of covered it there.
Yeah,
so.
it's on episode Who Gives a
We talked about it. We were aware of it. Leave
And
it.
if I miss an extinct transportation, write into the show and let us know your thoughts and comments. So
Yeah, look,
exactly.
we're about to tell you guys how to get in touch with us in just a little bit. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode about extinct transportation. If you want to learn more about us, magicourway.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, if you want to get in touch with us to share your opinions about these extinct transportation, you can get in touch with us through the following ways. Shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com, or you can call or send us a text message at 1-815-MOWEEKEND. That is 1-815-669-4226. 669-4226.
Hey, you want to know what I think about that episode?
What do you think about that episode?
Extincts.
Extinct!
Got that?
Oh,
The critics, remember that show?
I do.
John Lovett.
Extinct.
Extincts.
Anyway, we have a couple guys do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics.
Hey, Rob Liefeld here. Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino, Marvel Comics, Image Comics, all of it. You guys, what is up? Eli Ivory. What a great name. Eli Ivory, comic guru. I'm here to talk about you. I am here to say, check out ivorycomics.com. That's right, you. Check out ivorycomics.com. ivorycomics.com. If you're not doing that, you're missing out. You're missing out. The Savages comic cannot be beat, cannot be surpassed. You need to check it out, experience it for yourself. and you know the story. It's all about the glory. Congrats to you and all the magic that you're making with your Ivory Comics. Eli Ivory, comic book guru. Check out ivorycomics.com, comic book guru. Eli Ivory, the whole package. Deadpool said to. Do it. ivorycomics.com right now. Liefeld out.
Of course, just like you said, check out the website. You can see all the posts and links and blogs and all the good art that I have. And of course, a link to this show so you never miss an episode, a joke, some insight from Professor X from previous episodes. Get all the good stuff. Facebook.com. You can find me there, Eli H. Ivory, as long as you're a real person. How you doing? But if you're a bot, I want nothing to do with you right now. 2022 is a new year. Get away from me. All right. Project Geisha has a Facebook page, so facebook.com/Project Geisha. Instagram, you can find me there, eIvory504. And of course, on Twitter, I can be found at Headcock10166. So if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to tell them about the COVID special.
Oh yeah,
you have the COVID special.
You get the COVID special.
Yes, right. Anybody that goes ahead and signs up right now,
get all the books.
You get all the books for a very, very low price
of whatever you're willing to pay for it.
$1,
$20, $20.
You get all the Ivory or if you're a lady, just your phone number. That's all it costs. That's all it costs.
Those are the only numbers you need.
That's exactly it.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice. And if you want to book a vacation to experience all the current transportation systems that are in existence, you can do so through Lee. Lee, tell them how to do this.
Give me a call at 832-431-1621. That's 832-Transportainment. 832-TRNSPOTAIN. Email me at lee@magicourway.com. On Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/Lostadica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. On Instagram, you got a friend in Lee Travel. And on TikTok, you can find me at You Got a Friend in Lee. And if you do any of that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with No.
Von Meister Vika.
And of course, we got to thank Professor X for coming on this show. One of our first shows of 2022 as our journey to 500 begins.
Woo! Very well done,
delivering
Professor.
some awesome information about extinct Disney transportation. Thanks for coming on the show, sir.
Oh, no problem. Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Happy to have you, as always.
As always, man. In addition, guys, there's so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to take a second and thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome in the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So, Mohicans, we say Quaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
I have every intention of eating those bananas for breakfast, but I still somehow end up with tacos. Don't come around beer no more. Here comes my food. You got lucky dogs.
Not anymore because they don't exist.
All right, now you're making me hungry, dude. Shut up.
Hey, it's Lee.